Welcome everyone back to weekly weather updates, and in today's video we're going to have a look at the latest from the live radar. We'll then run through the UKV, have a look at the precipitation and the temperature over the next 5 days, and then we'll have a look at the medium to longer range, as it looks likely we're going to be going into quite an unsettled spell throughout the first week to 10 days of September. Autumn is going to start off on a really autumnal note with a lot of low pressure around, and highly likely many areas see a lot of precipitation, and at times it could even be quite stormy with low pressure parked on top of us, close isobars, tight isobars. Could be seeing some very strong winds and some heavy showers, thunderstorms and heavy bouts of rain as well. Again, we won't be able to have a look at the details because it is still a week away, a week plus away really. But we will be able to have a look at what the models are showing today and see what the most likely positioning of low pressure systems and how long this very unsettled spell may last. So do remember, if you enjoy my videos, make sure you like and subscribe, and remember to follow me on Twitter as well, the link's in the description. Now yes, it's going to be unsettled as we start September, but the last 5 days or so of August do look likely to be pretty decent. We're seeing temperatures widely in the mid-20s today, and that's going to continue over the next few days, and many areas actually becoming quite dry as well, precipitation free. Now if we do look at the live radar, you can see there is some precipitation pushing into the far west of Scotland and the far north of Northern Ireland, but most areas are pretty dry. There were showers forecasted for some central areas. They still could pop up throughout this afternoon, but at the moment we're not seeing anything really at all. So looking very dry, very sunny and pretty warm as well so far today, and it's going to continue throughout the end of August before things, as I said, turn a lot more unsettled and cooler through the start of September. Now recording this around 3 p.m, so we're reaching the peak temperatures of the day, and you can see widespread oranges and light reds there. That is temperatures into the mid-20s. Temperatures are peaking around 24 to 26 degrees this afternoon, widely, as I said, in that low 20s mark. And again, typically through central areas, but not exclusively, quite widespread warmth, even up into parts of Scotland, Northern Ireland, Republic of Ireland and Northern England seeing this warmth. But again, the bullseye area probably to the South Midlands, parts of the central southern England to southwest England through southern Wales as well. This sort of patch here getting very warm and very pleasant. Some late summer warmth. So yeah, really quite nice out there. So do cherish this bank holiday weekend, as it is going to be really quite pleasant the next few days. So do go to the UKV, have a look at the precipitation and the temperature over the next 5 days. If you do run to this afternoon, as I'm recording this, you can see there are meant to be a few showers breaking out, but really nothing has come of that. And you can see there is precipitation pushing into the far north of Northern Ireland and parts of western Scotland, but at this stage not too heavy, and it's mostly staying offshore. Beyond into this evening, you can see that precipitation does push in, but doesn't really make too many inroads. And by tomorrow afternoon, again, another widespread, bright and dry day. A few showers around and maybe some thicker cloud for some, but still not too bad. Should still be some sunshine and warmer conditions quite widely. If we head through to Monday, you can see once again, pretty dry and pretty warm. A few showers across northern England and Scotland, could be heavy and maybe thundery in a couple of them, but really nothing too major. Most areas dry and warm. And as we head towards Tuesday, again, another very nice day. Widely dry, widely quite sunny. A few showers in the east and parts of Republic of Ireland and Northern Ireland, but again, nothing crazy. And as we head into Wednesday, another very pleasant day, dry and warm to end August. So the last 4 or 5 days of August look really quite nice. Not too much going on, a lot of dry weather, a lot of warm weather around, but it is beyond that as we head into the first few days of September where things start to turn a lot more unsettled. If we do look at those max temperatures, you can see this afternoon widely getting into the low 20s, perhaps 24, 25 or maybe even 26 in a few spots today. As we head through to tomorrow, widely, very similarly, low 20s to maybe mid-20s, 24, 25 degrees, maybe 26 is still possible, but it's the widespread high teens, low 20s. So widespread warmth, not just in a few areas, not just in the east like we have seen in the past couple of weeks where it's been 30 degrees in the east but mid-teens elsewhere, or cooler, more unsettled. It's this widespread warm and sunny weather. And as we head through to Monday, into the bank holiday, Monday, widely warm again, perhaps peaking 24 or 25 degrees in the southwest, but widely high teens, low to mid-20s, really quite decent indeed. And into Tuesday, again, slightly cooler perhaps, but still high teens, low 20s. And into Wednesday, still high teens, low 20s, very pleasant to end August. But it is, as I said, all going to change as we head into early September. So, if we do go over to the GFS and see how this does evolve, you can see higher pressure is in control at the moment, and it just continues building in over the coming 8 days. A bit of an easterly flow, a generally warm air mass coming in off the near Atlantic, but watch at the 1st of September, it still looks relatively dry and relatively high pressure dominated. But just look to our north, Iceland, southern parts of Greenland, a low pressure system there. And this becomes a cut-off low that we have alluded to over the last few videos that just sets itself up over the top of us. It drops and becomes very stormy over the top of the UK. Look at that vigorous low, perhaps getting down as low as 990 millibars, which is a pretty low pressure system for this time of year, and it could be very unsettled. Wouldn't even rule out potentially, if it does get this low in terms of pressure, you could even potentially sing a name storm with this. But at the moment, it's too far away to say that with any certainty, but around the 3rd, 4th of September, so next weekend, we're firmly under low pressure, very unsettled, and it is going to have a cooler air mass with it. Again, we have potentially seen warmer air masses pushing in from the east, but because the centre of the low is over the top of us, those warmer air masses go up towards Scandinavia and towards Eastern Europe. I'll have a look at the ECMWF in a minute, and that does something a little bit different that could also spice things up into September, but we just continue with low pressure parked on top of us, and it really goes nowhere for a number of days throughout the first full week of September before eventually we do see some higher pressure built in, but still a lot of low pressure around, trying to run in off the Atlantic, and we see big low towards southern Greenland, potentially an ex-tropical system coming into the Atlantic, and that could really power things up. Again, if we did hold on to this pattern, we'd see warmer, dry weather, but it's very unlikely. Looking at the state of the North Atlantic, it's likely for us to go a lot cooler and more unsettled. So you can see, as soon as we hit those first few days of September, things are going to become a lot more unsettled and a lot cooler and rainier as well. Now, if we do have a look at the GM run and see how that does compare, again, higher pressure in control at the moment, nothing too much going on, but it's as we head towards next weekend, that low pressure drops and it just goes really unsettled over the top of us. The centre of low pressure parked in the Irish Sea, keeping us very unsettled, stormy, windy, rainy conditions, really quite miserable all the way to day 10. And again, today, the low pressure is parked more on top of us, so the warmer air masses that would get wafted up with a southerly wind are going to our east, out towards Eastern Europe, where it could get into the high 20s, low 30s once again. The UK in sort of mid to high teens, cool, unsettled, miserable conditions. Yes, there could be some sunshine around, there could be some dry weather, but there's always going to be a lot of showers and precipitation around. Now, if we do have a look at what the ECMWF is doing. Now, I did say a minute ago that it is going to do something very interesting, and we'll be able to see how that does evolve. Again, high pressure in control at the moment. That low pressure slides, but it parks further westwards. Now, yes, it would spiral up some heavy showers, some storms in the south and the west, but it eventually gets pushed away back out to the Atlantic. We see a bit of a Scandinavian high with the tilt in the isobars in from the southeast, and it goes really quite hot. The 15-degree isotherm gets through. That is exceptionally hot for the time of year, a good 10 degrees above average. And if we go to the United Kingdom look and have a look at those 2 meter temperatures, and we run back to the previous afternoon, you can see widely mid to high 20s around midday, and again it would be a couple of degrees higher at the peak temperatures of the day at 3 p.m. Could even stretch 30 degrees for the first week of September. So really hot heatwave conditions for early September, just for a subtle shift in the positioning of the high pressure, low pressure. Again, I must say this is very uncertain and it is an outlier at the moment, but we can't rule it out. It is a possibility, but as we'll see the ensembles in a minute, it very much is a warm outlier. The majority are around, maybe slightly above, slightly below average, depending on the exact orientation, but generally very unsettled, that low pressure close by, whereas this would be quite dry, warm and hot, in fact, with some early autumn heat. So yeah, we'll have to keep an eye on it, but I do think this is an anomalous run. But again, it's just something we do need to keep an eye on, and it could come off. I just don't think it's got a good chance at this stage. If we do go over to the ensembles now and have a look at the GFS ensembles today. Now you can see it's generally around average, maybe above average towards the end of August, but as soon as we hit 3rd, 4th of September, those temperatures dip towards average, some slightly above, some slightly below. The GFS definitely below, and a lot of unsettled conditions, a lot of precipitation there from around the 2nd, 3rd, all the way to around the 10th of September for a full week there. Very unsettled, a lot of precipitation around, and that very much would make up for the drought conditions we have at the moment. Won't eradicate them by any means, but would very much add to the recovery from that. So yeah, looking very, very unsettled throughout the first week. Again, uncertainty with the exact upper air masses, but very much looks low pressure dominated, very unsettled and potentially really quite stormy. It does continue all the way to the end of this ensemble run. So could we be saying goodbye to summer within the next 5 days or so? It doesn't look like there's going to be any summery weather on this latest GFS ensembles throughout the first week or two of September. There's always a chance. You see, the control run goes very warm at the end, but the majority of runs are unsettled and temperatures around or slightly below average. Now, if I have a look at the ECMWF ensembles, have a look at the midnight run. Again, you can see around average for the end of August, but with sunshine around those temperatures into the low to mid-20s. But for the first few days of September, all the way to the end of the ensemble run, a lot of precipitation, a lot of unsettled, stormy conditions. Temperatures perhaps slightly more above average, so maybe some more of those runs going with a southeasterly wind, but you can see the ECMWF there with the operational run with a thicker green line there. Very much an outlier, producing very hot heat wave-like conditions. We could be getting temperatures into the 30-degree range there, but majority are a lot cooler and with a lot of precipitation. So I think the unsettled low pressure parked on top of us is the most likely scenario today. So yeah, if you are got any plans for early September or even into the middle of September, it looks right now the most likely scenario is for unsettled, stormy autumnal conditions. So not looking great if you want a little bit more of a long-lasting summer. So yeah, looks really unsettled. Again, we'll be able to have a look at the details probably in the next sort of 5 days or so. Perhaps maybe the middle of this upcoming week, we'll have a look at a lot more detail on precipitation, positions, and wind speeds, and exact temperatures as well. For the time being, the general outlook is quite unsettled, quite chilly, especially we see those low pressure parked on top of us, and generally quite stormy as well into September. So anyway, thanks for watching. Make sure you cherish the next few days, especially this bank holiday weekend and the last few days of August next week, as it does look likely it's going to be very warm, very dry, and proper late summer conditions, because, as I said, we have no guarantees for seeing anything like this again throughout September. It's possible, but at this stage, the most likely scenario is for a continuation of unsettled conditions throughout September. So thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you again for another video soon.